You're listening to Red Pill 78. I am the Corruption Detector, and this is your Red Pill News. Hope everyone's having a great day. I know that I am. Our favorite Anon is posting fast and furious. There is all kinds of good stuff to go over. We've got news about the hubbub regarding Baltimore. Our favorite Anon is posting on it. We've also got an update for the story I did yesterday about John Brennan visiting Europe. There's some new info coming out about that. Also, Brennan acting spooked now that it looks like Ratcliffe is going to be taking over the DNI position from Coates when he exits by August 15th. Also, we've got transcripts from the James Rabicki testimony. So sit back, relax, grab your popcorn, guys, and we will be right back after a quick word from my sponsor. Have you heard about the new Q coin? You haven't? Well, take a look at it right here. Q has captured the mood of America and given voice to a movement, and now you can be a real part of that movement. This very special coin has deep meaning engraved in every space. If you follow Q, this coin is a no-brainer for you. Opening its box of secrets will be the most exciting thing you've done in a long time. The smartest people in the world have latched onto this, and it's time you did too. Now, with the collectible Q coin and the app that comes with it, you can join them. Go to greatawakeningcoin.com and use the code REDPILL78 to get $5 off when you buy 2 coins or more. So get the coin now that you've been waiting for at greatawakeningcoin.com and use the code REDPILL78 and save $5 off 2 coins. All right, starting off the day with Post 3533, reminder regarding impeachment. 2/3 of the Senate vote required to impeach POTUS. 53 to 47. Logical thinking. You are watching Democrats con liberal base using hope tactics while maintaining POTUS obstruction of justice fake news narrative. Think 2020. Guys, there is absolutely no way that Donald Trump will be impeached. They will never be able to get the 2/3 vote in the Senate, and I am very doubtful that they could even get articles through the House. President Trump has done nothing approaching anything impeachable, and it's basically just a pipe dream. The Democrats keep shouting it from the rooftops because they know that as long as they say it, their liberal base is going to eat it up and keep regurgitating it and telling everybody that will listen that POTUS's time is almost through. But we know that that is an absolute pipe dream. All right, next, Post 3534. This is an article on human trafficking, and it says Maryland has second most defendants charged in federal human trafficking cases. Who represents Maryland in the House and Senate? The more you know. Let's take a look first at the human trafficking report. All right, here it is, the 2018 Human Trafficking Report. It is a PDF document, and there is tons of information in here. I bet it's very, very illuminating where the largest segments of human trafficking are here in America. So you've got the introduction, criminal human trafficking cases, civil, methodology and terminology. So just an overall smorgasbord of information on human trafficking. Probably many, many items that you and I and our friends here already know about, because this is something we've been working on for quite some time, and only due to the diligence of President Trump and his administration has the rest of the country started to come to the realization that human trafficking is as prevalent as it is. Now, it says here that in 2018, the government initiated 171 criminal human trafficking cases in federal courts. 95% of those initiated cases were for sex trafficking, 4.7% were for labor trafficking, and that represents a 29% decrease in the number of initiated cases from 2017. Again, that reduction in number is due to the diligence of President Trump, his DOJ, his administration, the people that President Trump have organized and brought together in the American government to take on this very, very disturbing issue. Human trafficking was running rampant throughout America, and only by President Trump putting a spotlight on this has it been able to be reduced. And I bet you that this year it will be decreased even more, or perhaps it may be increased by quite a bit more due to the fact that all of those sealed indictments are sitting out there. So those may be unsealed, and watch those human trafficking cases increase exponentially. But our favorite Anon told us that it is Maryland. Maryland is one of the big places where human trafficking is really, really a problem. So I'm going to leave this in the description below. You guys can go ahead and take a look at it. Maybe we'll get a deeper look at it on the live stream this weekend, and we can talk about it there in the chat. Now, next in that post is a tweet from Charlie Kirk. He says, "Did you know the last 3 mayors of Baltimore have all stepped down or been forced out of office for corruption? All 3 were Democrats. See a pattern?" Yeah, that actually is a disturbing pattern. However, not too surprising when you know what we know. Now, speaking of Baltimore, we have a flashback here. It says, Baltimore mayor does city walkthrough and complains, "Whoa, you can smell the rats and the dead animals." A video of Baltimore's former Democrat Mayor Catherine Pugh doing a walkthrough of a dilapidated neighborhood last year has resurfaced amid claims that President Donald Trump's concern over the state of Charm City's rat infestation is racist. At one point, Mayor Pugh declares that she can smell the rats. "What the hell? We should just take all this SHIT down. Whoa, you can smell the rats. Woo, JESUS. Oh my God, you can smell the dead animals," Mayor Pugh said during a segment on Fox 45. So let's go ahead and take a look at the video clip because it's pretty staggering.
About a year ago, city leaders identified some of the city's most violent neighborhoods.
What the hell? We should just take all this down.
To target.
Ooh, you can smell the rats.
Under Baltimore's Violence Reduction Initiative.
Ooh, Jesus.
Just last week, we went with Mayor Pugh as she toured an East Baltimore neighborhood.
This a new one. I've been out here 54 years. This a new one.
Baltimore's Violence Reduction Initiative is about taking steps to rid communities of the cornerstones that contribute to crime.
Oh my God, you can smell the dead animals.
Blocks of dilapidated buildings help to hide the addiction that's crippled this community.
Had a bit of a flashback to many scenes from The Wire, which was a show which dealt with the issue of drugs in Baltimore and crime, of course. So yeah, these buildings have been abandoned for so long. I saw another post yesterday that showed a tree growing up through the building. Now, this tree was so old, it was taller than the building itself. So that means this building has been vacant long enough for a tree to grow up through the center of the floor, all the way through the second and third floor, and then through the roof itself. Baltimore is in a really bad spot, and President Trump is doing nothing but calling attention to the issues of the constituents of Elijah Cummings. Now, earlier this week, CNN host Victor Blackwell cried on air over tweets from President Trump, complaining about that rat problem, asserting that pointing out the infestation is racist. Baltimore is number 9 on Orkin's list of the top 10 most rat-infested cities. Aside from causing structural damage, rodents can carry hundreds of pathogens that can transmit various diseases and dangerous parasites. Additionally, they constantly leave behind droplets of urine as they travel each day. These droppings can contribute to asthma and allergic reactions, especially in children, Shel Hartzer, an Orkin entomologist, said in a press release about these infested cities. The tweets from the president that have dominated this week's news cycle slammed Representative Elijah Cummings for focusing on the southern border instead of problems in his own district. The president had this to say: Representative Elijah Cummings has been a brutal bully, shouting and screaming at the great men and women of Border Patrol about conditions at the southern border, when actually his Baltimore district is far worse and more dangerous. His district is considered the worst in the USA, as proven last week during a congressional tour. The border is clean, efficient, and well-run, just very crowded. Cummings' district is a disgusting rat and rodent-infested mess. If he spent more time in Baltimore, maybe he could help clean up this very dangerous and filthy place. He is only speaking the truth. Baltimore really has a lot of problems. Many broken down, dilapidated, empty, condemned buildings, rats, trash, dead animals, dogs and cats, squirrels, everything dead all over the place and filled to the brim with drug addicts. We have so many problems in our inner cities, and Maryland is absolutely not an exception. For anyone to claim that President Trump is trying to make a racial issue out of this, they are dreaming. In fact, I think that it might be actually kind of offensive to say that this is a racial issue. President Trump is calling attention to the fact that these problems exist. Are the people saying that this is racist, are they saying that these problems are caused by people of color? I really think not, but that's the way that it comes across. President Trump is not talking about something regarding a specific race of people. He is talking about a problem with the governance of this area. And Elijah Cummings, I'm looking square at you. Now next, we have post 3535, what a coinkydink. It is a repost of my tweet from February 14th, which was retweeted by my good friend Normie Woke AF, that would be Conservative Karen. This was the video of President Trump calling for the Great Awakening. Now, the video itself was from about a year earlier, but I had found it and posted it, and next thing you know, Karen retweets it, and then Q posts it. So really, really cool. And the post says, Anons crashed the site. That's referring to 8chan. So too many people on the board trying to post things. High volume traffic, the Great Awakening, calling back to that post. Now, post 3536, we have a status from John Brennan, and Q says, thank you for confirming. Coates bad, Ratcliffe good. Sleepers present problems regarding staff fills. More coming. Let's go ahead and take a look at that tweet from John Brennan. Dan Coates served ably and with deep integrity. Ratcliffe showed abject subservience to Trump in Mueller hearings. The women and men in the intelligence community deserve a leader like Coates who puts nation first, not a servile Trump loyalist like Ratcliffe. You have got to be kidding me. If John Brennan supports someone, then you know that that person is up to no good. Let's go ahead and take a look at an article from the Gateway Pundit regarding this very thing. Now, apparently, Brennan is spooked after the deep state DNI chief Dan Coates has resigned, and he's attacking Ratcliffe as that servile Trump loyalist. President Trump on Sunday officially announced that he nominated Representative John Ratcliffe, Republican from Texas, to replace Dan Coates as Director of National Intelligence. Coates will be leaving his post on August 15th. The president will be announcing the acting DNI chief shortly thereafter. Former Clowns in America chief and architect of Spygate, John Brennan, was not too happy that Trump nominated Ratcliffe to be the next director of national intelligence. Dan Coates is a deep state stooge who was causing a bottleneck for Barr and Durham in the declassification process in their Spygate investigation. Representative Ratcliffe is a former U.S. attorney and a huge supporter of Trump, who absolutely destroyed dirty cop Mueller last week during the hearing. Of course, Brennan doesn't want Ratcliffe taking the job. He wants the deep state in control of the intel agencies. And then we have an embed of that tweet that we just read. Now, Comey also reacted to the resignation of Dan Coates by asserting he was loyal only to the truth. Dan Coates was loyal only to the deep state, which is why he continued to spread the Russia interference hoax. And we've known since February that Dan Coates was going to be going the way of the dodo when it was released to us through our favorite anon. So no big surprise here. Really, really happy to learn that it's going to be John Ratcliffe. He is not only a loyalist to President Trump, but he is a man of integrity, and he understands the law. I think that by putting him in this position, we are going to be able to get through everything that we need to get done. Attorney General Barr is not going to have any problems with getting this declassification taken care of. My only question is, who will be replacing John Ratcliffe in Congress? Now, post 3537, it says, Ray is a sleeper. Future marker. Q. Now, there has been much discussion between myself, my friends here on this show, wondering what the heck is going on with Ray. We were told to trust Ray. Now, in what degree? I really don't know. Was it that Ray was a sleeper cell agent? He was just waiting to be activated? Was it that we were supposed to trust him just to do his job because he was going to be protecting the FBI? Well, it looks here like we are being told to remember this post. Ray is a sleeper. I think that when the time comes, Ray will be activated and he will do exactly what is necessary to get the job done. So everybody sit back, relax, and trust Ray just like we were told. So far, everything that we've been told like this has come to pass. Ray is the last prophecy. Now, post 3538, this is a repost of those gentlemen at Guantanamo Bay. Now, I had stated at that time, I believed that these guys would be guards or servicemen stationed there at Guantanamo Bay, but I was told by a couple different people that it's possible they could bring family members in. But these are three able-bodied military-age men, and they are holding, of course, Pepe signs that say, "We are Q," and then the bread number and the date in which this post most would have actually been on the board. And there is an embed here of Amy Mech's status from Twitter, someone I follow. We now have plenty of space. I think he's referring to Gitmo. So let's take a look at Amy's tweet. All right, so she says, Italy's Matteo Salvini refuses to back down. Who betrayed Europe? Who occupied this Europe in the name of multinationals and uncontrolled immigration? The Merkels, the Macrons, the Soroses, and the Junkers. God bless Salvini for standing up for his people. Ooh, I like this one. We're going to go ahead and take a look at this video clip from, looks like probably Italian television.
Lasciamo agli altri volentieri le paure e i fantasmi del passato. Noi insieme stiamo costruendo il futuro. Qua non c'è l'ultradestra. Qua c'è la politica del buonsenso. Gli estremisti sono quelli che hanno governato l'Europa per 20 anni nel nome della precarietà e della povertà. Chi ha tradito l'Europa? Chi ha tradito uno dei più bei sogni ipotizzati dai padri fondatori, l'Europa dei popoli e delle nazioni, di cui parlavano De Gasperi, De Gaulle, Margaret Thatcher? L'hanno tradita le elite, i poteri forti che hanno occupato questa Europa nel nome della finanza, delle multinazionali, del dio denaro e dell'immigrazione fuori controllo. Le Merkel, i Macron, i Soros, gli Juncker.
È un fedele sostenitore del...
That's right. Politics of intelligence. Politics of good policy, politics of the people. This is not about being far right. This is about reclaiming our sovereignty, not only here but abroad. Europe has been betrayed. America has been betrayed. The world has been betrayed by the globalists, the financiers, those who would take our lands and give it to unskilled immigrants, people rushing across the borders who have absolutely nothing but the stuff on their back and looking to work for pennies on the dollar, when Americans can do the job, when we need to build up our own country and empower our own people. Europe is facing the same issue right now, and we are seeing the same type of great awakening there as we are here. It is beautiful. Now next, post 3539, following up on that, it says Salvini is a patriot, and it says Italy is with POTUS. Attempts by Democrats to prevent disclosure of Five Eyes material regarding Nunes in non-official ways was denied. They are powerless. Enjoy the show. Ooh, guys, this sounds to me like we are on the precipice of this information coming out. Italy is with us. The New Britain is with us. We are now going to get all this information about the Five Eyes countries and the spying that they did on Americans, the things they did for the former failed administration to try to overthrow a duly elected president of the United States. This is not going to end up good for the Democrats, and this is not going to be good for the former leadership in those countries that helped to try to overthrow our nation. Now, post 3540, we have another Twitter status, and it says, no coverage by the U.S. mainstream media? Ask yourself a simple Q. Why? Anti-narrative? Let's go ahead and take a look at that post. All right, this is from David Vance. I would assume maybe that's a journalist or something. It says, Macron's stormtroopers pulverize those who dare dissent his policies. UK media remain mute. No coverage. Let's go ahead and take a look at the footage. Just shocking footage coming out of France. The Yellow Vest protests have not ended. That poor guy right there, that cop was running past him. He was running away, and he just brained him. This is disgusting, and Macron knows that he is about to lose power in France. Now, dare I say, he has already lost power, and this demonstration here is really adequate proof of that. We need new leadership for the French, and they need to get on the same page as the rest of the world, because your time is through. All right, let's do a refresh before I move on to our last two stories. All right, we do have one more post, post 3541. It is another Twitter status, and it says, good crop this season? Let's take a look. Bet you it's a corn reference. Ooh, I love myfreedom.org. Joe DeGeneva just dropped a bombshell, and there is popcorn in the post. Let's take a listen.
By the way, the declassification process will start this week. There are going to be documents released, I think, by Wednesday. The Attorney General, as I understand it, is in the process of getting those ready to come out. There are going to be some of the Devin Nunes documents that he requested, and then a series of other releases will come after that. That's because Durham is progressing very, very quickly in his criminal investigation. This is not a review, quote-unquote, of what went on. This is a criminal investigation of senior DOJ and FBI officials from the Obama administration and intelligence community people, including John Brennan. This is a federal grand jury. This is not a review. This is not an IG audit. This is not some Congressional Research Service look at history. This is a criminal investigation of a bunch of people who tried to seditiously overthrow the President of the United States. So the stuff is going to start coming out this week.
Okay, so let me just pause on the details that you're saying here. Wednesday, that means when you say come out, you mean to the public. We'll be able to see documents Wednesday?
My understanding is by Wednesday, yes.
Okay, and then on the issue of Devin Nunes, what were the documents Devin Nunes was seeking? Was this related to unmasking or wiretapping? What?
They were all the things related to. He made several requests by letter, as you know, of various items, 302s, applications for the FISA court. I mean, Devin Nunes has made many requests for declassification. I'm not sure which ones are going to come out first, but they're coming now.
Wow, guys. Wednesday, 2 days from now. You heard it from Joe DeGeneva right there. This is a criminal investigation, just as we have been saying the entire time. This is not simply another review, not simply another IG report that we're going to find out. This is going to be actual charges brought against actual people from the DOJ and the FBI. They are going to pay for their crimes, and it is time to get the popcorn ready. And guys, real quick before we get to the next story, hot tip that came over from Hulkinator just as I was getting ready to export this video. C comes before D. We've got to remove the blockade before we can declass. Who has just been removed? Coates. Coates is gone. Now the declass can come. We were thinking Comey before, but we were told right here, C comes before D, and that's what we just got. All right, now to follow up on that story from yesterday, the former president's clown director, Brennan, was in Europe at the exact same time as the deep state's secret society was meeting in England with Strzok, Page, and McCain lackey Kramer. We reported yesterday that Obummer's former clown director, John Brennan, was in Portugal in late November 2016. Brennan is widely believed to be the architect of the Trump-Russia collusion hoax. We wondered what else was Brennan doing in Europe. Well, we've now pieced together that the deep state's secret society had a meeting in England at the exact same time. Is this why Brennan was in Europe? As we reported yesterday, former U.S. Attorney Joe DeGeneva discussed his thoughts after the Mueller testimony in front of Congress last week. He confirmed much of what was already been posted, and at the end of his excellent review, he said, by the way, just remember John Brennan was the tip of the spear. This was his conspiracy from day one. John Brennan. Don't forget that name. He's at the end of this he's at the beginning of the entire conspiracy. Joe DeGeneva's interview leads nicely into breaking information we've gathered regarding Brennan's actions under that former failed administration. Former clown agent Sabrina D'Souza knows Brennan's actions well. As we reported a couple of weeks ago, former President Obummer and his clown director John Brennan ignored her pleas for help, and they left her to rot in an Italian prison. And if it wasn't for President Trump, then she would not be out at this time. Now, D'Souza shared that John Brennan had made a trip to Europe in late November of 2016, right after the presidential election. And we know this because this was released by lawyers in her case. They told her about it. And then once President Trump was in power, he actually supported this agent, an agent of the United States, even though she is a clown, and he prevented her from going to jail in Italy. Now, the strange aspect from our discussion with D'Souza is that the clown director's overseas travel is always kept secret. However, her Portuguese lawyer was notified that Brennan had been in Lisbon. Now, the questions that we raised yesterday were, what was Brennan doing in Portugal? Who else did Brennan visit on his trip to Europe immediately after the 2016 election? What we've pieced together overnight is that Brennan wasn't the only deep state operative to be in Europe at this exact same time. We reported in June that the deep state gang members were all in London at this exact same time. Now, you guys know what this means. We saw pictures of this on the board posted by Q from surveillance cameras in the area. Now, it looks like Obummer's corrupt leaders at the FBI were connected with many of the deep state players and British-linked spies in London. We also know that these players met around the world. Christopher Steele met with Fusion GPS's Glenn Simpson and the DOJ's Bruce Orr in Washington, D.C. shortly after the election in November 2016. Steele also met with State Department employees in Washington before the election. And former Arizona Senator John McCain and his assistant David Kramer were told of the dossier by an associate of Steele's and former British diplomat Sir Andrew Wood on November 18th of 2016. Kramer turned around and 10 days later met Steele in Surrey, England on November 28, 2016. Ironically, at the same time that Steele was working with the McCain team, the FBI was working on their first meeting of the secret society that would occur in London. Lisa Page referred to this society in a text to her alleged lover Peter Strzok in early November 2016. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. All right, and here are the texts. Lisa Page says, and there it is. Are you even going to give out your calendars? It seems kind of depressing. Maybe it should be the first meeting of the secret society. Right there. She's talking about it right there. Then later in the month, a group of FBI agents flew to London at the same time Kramer was in England meeting Steele, and Page and Strzok text about this too. Peter Strzok starts out, tell you what, this is going to be an interesting meeting with them in a couple of weeks. The next text from Page is redacted, and then the next one from Strzok is redacted, and then she says, I am reading, started all the president's men. Pretty good so far. Just a few pages in, the press focus is going to be annoying, especially knowing how obnoxious and self-righteous they both turned out to be. Just sent you Andy's response. It makes me happy. That was a very nice response from Andy. Yeah, it made me happy. Maybe take an informal poll of folks tomorrow regarding flights and hotels. Yep, meeting with John and blank tomorrow to decide what to talk about, get all the paperwork going, at which point I'll direct everyone to take the Tuesday daytime flight. And then blank asked me about flight info, etc. So at a minimum, I expect she'll be flying with us. Strzok says, and boo, that sucks. Should I move my seat so she can grab the one next to yours? And anticipate that means she will hang on Tuesday. All expected, I guess, was just hoping for different. Something says there, just got into work, have my standing, 8:30. Page replies, maybe regarding Tuesday. She might do tourist things, though, since it's been 2 decades since she was there. Page then says, blank and John and the rest of them should be encouraged to take another flight, though. And then Strzok says, hey, do you know why Bill was talking to Jim? It now looks like Brennan was a card-carrying member of the secret society, and he was at their inaugural meeting in England along with deep state crooks Strzok, Page, and John McCain's assistant David Kramer. Pieces are beginning to fall together. So right there in that text conversation, that would be John Brennan, the John they are talking about. Now, I'm just wondering, who is the redacted woman that was also coming along with them? This is great news, guys. Every single day we get more information. It keeps getting better and better and better. And these people better hang on to their seats because the charges are coming, handcuffs are ready, and Gitmo is a-callin'. All right, and finally, an exclusive from the Gateway Pundit, transcripts have been obtained of the former FBI Chief of Staff James Rybicki testifying about the Russia conspiracy, saying that it came from Obummer's White House. Transcripts obtained from the FBI in a request for information show that James Rybicki, the former FBI Chief of Staff under James Comey, testified that the Russia conspiracy sham came from the former administration's White House in October of 2016. We reported last week that businessman Ed Butowski filed a lawsuit where he outed reporter Ellen Ratner as his source for information that Seth Rich and his brother provided WikiLeaks the DNC emails before the 2016 election, not Russia. This story totally destroys the FBI and Mueller's claims that Russians hacked the DNC to obtain these emails. Butowski claimed in his lawsuit, Miss Ratner said Mr. Assange told her that Seth Rich and his brother Aaron were responsible for releasing the DNC emails to WikiLeaks. Miss Ratner said Mr. Assange wanted the information relayed to Seth's parents as it might explain the motive for Seth's murder. Today we have exclusive information that Butowski and his attorney Ty Clevenger requested and obtained documents from the FBI related to their case. According to the duo, they obtained the transcript from former FBI Chief of Staff James Rybicki, where he states that the Obummer White House was the entity that was pushing the Russia conspiracy as early as October 2016. So this is from that testimony. Rybicki was corrupt cop James Comey's chief of staff. There is James Rybicki right there. Clevenger states in a post online that newly released documents from the FBI suggest that the Obummer White House pushed intelligence agencies to publicly blame the Russians for email leaks from the Democratic National Committee to WikiLeaks. This afternoon, I received an undated and heavily redacted transcript of an interview of James Rybicki, former Chief of Staff to former FBI Director James Comey, that includes this excerpt. So, we understand that at some point in October 2016, there was, I guess, a desire by the White House to make some kind of statement about Russia's, and then the next page is omitted. The comment is made by an unidentified prosecutor from the U.S. Office of Special Counsel, or OSC, not to be confused with the Office of former Special Counsel Robert Mueller. The OSC is a permanent office that investigates Hatch Act violations, and Mr. Comey was under investigation for trying to influence the 2016 presidential election. Now it appears that not only was the Russia hacking the DNC story a lie, but the former failed administration before President Trump, that White House, was the one pushing it. Now, we've known for a long time, guys, that this conspiracy went all the way to the top, and that means specifically 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue with the former occupant at the head of the conspiracy. This was never supposed to get this far. We were never supposed to find this out. They thought they were going to remove him, and they thought that they were going to get Hillary Clinton into power. They never thought she'd lose, and then they never thought that they would lose once they put this plan of action into the mix. Guys, get ready for Wednesday. Get ready for more posts. I know that there will be more later on today, but I have to get this video edited and push it out. I just want to thank everyone for joining me. As always, this has been Red Pill 78. I am the corruption detector, and this was your Red Pill News. Good luck, everyone, and God bless.